The Project Analytics platform collects data on all of your projects, allowing you to diagnose and keep an eye on the model health and quality of your Revit projects. Let's begin by setting up your projects in Project Analytics. First, open a local file of your project in Revit and sync it. Project Analytics will not be able to read a model without it first being opened by a user with Unify installed. By syncing your project, Project Analytics will mark the project and record the directory location. To access the Analytics dashboard, I'm going to click on the globe icon on the left side of the screen in Unify. This is going to take us to the Unify web portal, where I'll be able to access Project Analytics, as well as other additional Unify features. Click on the Project Analytics tab. Keep in mind that Project Analytics projects are not to be confused with Revit projects. The projects in Project Analytics are a way to aggregate data from multiple models. For example, if you have a larger project broken up into multiple Revit models, then you can view aggregated data from those models as a project in this section. To create your first project, click on the Projects tab. In the top right corner, select New Project. Start by giving the project a name and select the toggle button to opt in to collecting data on all files that you add to the project. We won't be collecting your data unless you tell us it's okay, so this step is very important. In this menu, you have the option to select the project location. This is not required, but could provide some additional insight for your company. If you haven't added any locations yet, or if you have a new location to add, select Create New Location. Enter the name of the location and select Create Location. Other options to select are Project Status and Design Phase. For the Project Status menu, you have three options: Active, On Hold, and Archived. Design Phase options are None, SD, DD, CD, and CA. You can also copy pinned libraries and channels that you want as content sources for this project. It's important to note that this will not affect a user's access to other libraries, but this setting will default search libraries within Unify to those that are pinned after every search. You'll also be able to copy health indicator threshold values from any other projects you have in Project Analytics. If you haven't created a project in Project Analytics yet, then the default threshold values will be used here. Once you have completed all of the fields, select Create. Now let's look at how to add models to a project. Click on the Models tab. Click Add Model in the upper right corner of the screen. It's a good idea to have the project open within Revit before setting it up in Project Analytics. After Unify is installed, it's able to look at the file history to see the models it can access. If you cannot see a model that you have synced at least once, it just means that it hasn't been opened since Unify has been installed. Simply open the model in Revit, sync it, and then come back to the screen to view it in the list. Select which models you want to add to your project. You'll notice that the model path is shown to you for each model so that you can ensure that you are selecting the correct one. Next, select Add to Project, and then select Finished in the bottom right corner of the screen. Feel free to continue Revit file maintenance procedures of auditing, purging, and recreating your central model. As long as the file path stays the same, the model will continue to gather the data. Now let's set up the Revit warning categories that you want to pay attention to within Project Analytics. You're going to determine which warnings you want included in a model health score at a company level. From the Project Analytics portal, click on the Settings tab. You'll see a list of all the Revit warnings that currently exist within your projects being analyzed by Project Analytics. You're going to determine on this screen what is critical, what is non-critical, and what you can ignore. Everything that is categorized as ignore or uncategorized will not affect the model health score. Warnings will be uncategorized by default, so good practice would be to check on these settings regularly to make sure any new warnings are captured. You can change the categorization under the category column. Once you've categorized all Revit warnings, select Save in the upper right corner of the screen. Heads up, if you notice that you can't save for some reason, It means that you aren't in Google Chrome or Firefox. Now let's talk about how to set up model health indicators for a specific project. You just established what warnings are important to you at a company level, but now you can sift through these at a project level and identify how you want them to impact the overall health score of a particular project. Go back to the Project Analytics dashboard and select the Projects tab. Select the project that you'd like to open. Next, click on the Settings tab. From here, you can see each of the indicators that impact your overall health score. You can modify these fields so that your health score reflects exactly what is important to you. For example, let's say you don't think that Revit links are detrimental to your model health. You can choose to ignore that health indicator by checking the Ignore box. However, let's say that you find sync time an indication of when a model is becoming less efficient. You can set thresholds for the sync time health indicator. A caution threshold at 90 seconds would affect the model health score a little. If it crosses our needs attention by taking more than 180 seconds to sync, the model health score would be affected even more. Once you're done, click Save. You can then go back to Revit and sync your data to give you an updated health score in Project Analytics.